Hi guys, welcome back to another video, and today I have a completely different background here. I am in my bedroom. The reason behind that is because we will talk about this beautiful orchid here that's known as the Cycnodes Wine Delight. Do you know this orchid? If you do, if you have it, let me know down below. Today I will have a spotlight to talk to you about the Cycnodes, what this orchid is, how I look after it, and how I managed to bloom it for the first time. If that's the type of content you'd like to see, stay here with me and let's start. So this orchid is a hybrid between the Cycnodes and the Mahmuds, two different genera of orchids that they both sit under the Catasetonii family. I love Catasetons in general, including Cycnokia, Mahmuds, and all of them. I didn't have all of these orchids, but all of the blooms and how they present themselves, I think that's so marvelous that one day I would love to acquire more of them. However, they do require their own space, and until I am feeling very confident that I have space on no pests, I will try to acquire some others of these orchids. Today we will talk about these gorgeous wine-colored flowers that will push out these bright, deep red burgundy blooms, and that has a super curious shape to it. Let's just explore this plant a bit before I go into some of its disadvantage, and how I look after them. So, as I said, it has this burgundy tone of color around its petals, sepals, and lip. It's very glossy, red, and it will make a beautiful pendant flower spike. It is pretty heavy when the plant is completely mature, but it's worth for the beauty. However, it is very perfumey, and even for me to be here recording this video now, it is making me a bit sick. It's not the type of fragrance that I love, some people like. For me, it's too much. It reminds me of some sweet medicine, something that I don't know how to describe, but if you have fragrance sensitivity, you have to keep it far from you. If you have a space in your house where you're not going to be sitting, working, studying, or something like that, fine. Like, stay here in my living room, and I only come here. Most of my time that I spend here is during the evening, so I don't feel anything. But during the day, when I just pass around, that's the kind of fragrance that I know it's coming from this plant. It's pretty powerful. It's not for everyone. Just as a disclaimer, it is a fragrant orchid, but if you ignore the fragrance or if you adore the fragrance, I think the reason why I want to keep having this plant and why I think it's really, really nice is because of the flower display. It's a lovely color. Yes, I do love Catasetonii flowers. I think they are elegant. They have a different sort of lip, and all of them are a bit different from each other. So for this reason, I think having a collection of these plants will never disappoint you. Something else, it has a typical elongated leaves. The leaves are very thin and have a sturdy pseudobulb that will be able to store water and energy. So now let's talk a little bit about how to care for this plant and what I consider that's very easy, super good, and what is a little bit more difficult. Like most Catasetons and Catasetonii family, this plant is gonna lose its leaves when the flowering season is over. So I'm waiting for the flowers to be gone. Usually they will last for around 2 to 3 weeks. They will die very quickly. After that, the leaves will become yellow, and this plant will start to lose one by one all of the leaves. And then you're gonna have very plain pseudobulbs, like the pseudobulbs here in the back. And these pseudobulbs will be able to keep living even without a potting mix. So while I don't have any vegetative growth, like a new pseudobulb with leaves that are sprouting and new roots, you should stop watering your plant gradually when the blooms are over, so it will understand that it's the driest period of time. It's when they lose their leaves, and then after that, they can become even bare-rooted. You can cut all of the roots and wait until the new growth will start to sprout. When the new growth starts to sprout and you have new roots that will be around 10 to 15 centimeters long, you can repot your plant in a new potting mix and keep watering it slowly until it has longer roots and you offer a little bit more water, and with time it's going to become a very thirsty plant. So during the growth time, when the weather is a little bit warm, these plants, they need plenty of water because they will pushing out a ton of new roots, and also they need more fertilizer because these plants, they will need to produce new pseudobulbs, new leaves, and push out a flower spike in a short period of time. They will require more fertilizer to be able to grow enough during this period of time. So pay attention how you fertilize this plant after you repot it. It's really, really important for them to be healthy. Something else is for you to pay attention to the size, because when they are bare rooted or when you have only pseudobulbs, they can be very, very small, very easy for you to place anywhere around your shelving. However, they will become very large and tall plants. So when they are on that period of time, when they are growing their leaves, you need to offer them the proper space. Remember, they are not small plants only when they don't have anything growing on, but when they are producing new leaves and new pseudobulbs, they do require more space. So that's very, very important. They will bloom for you usually once a year, and that's when they will be able to push out new leaves, new growths, and then the new flower spike. Some species of catasetums are capable of keeping growing and growing without losing all of its leaves, and others, like this one, will lose everything and will grow only once a year. So look for which type of Cycnodes you have or marmots. Do a bit of your research to understand a bit about your plant. Something else, it's about light. So it does very well with some bright light and indirect light. In my case, I place it under my shelvings with some artificial growing light. It has to be on the highest spectrum, the highest that I have. They are all sitting there very close to my lamps, not close enough that will burn the leaves, but very, very close that will receive the highest amount of light. And that's how I manage to bloom and rebloom these plants. You need to observe that you're offering the right amount of light so they will keep growing. Most of these plants, they come from tropical countries where, although they are in the canopy of the forest, growing on top of trees and tree trunks, they are receiving high light, but very bright and indirect sunlight for around 12 hours a day. So that's something for you to keep in mind. In terms of humidity, as I told you before when I was talking about watering, when it's in the vegetative growth period, you need to offer plenty of water. You need to keep an eye on the mix to see if it's dry out. If it did, you need to offer some water because these plants are growing very quickly during a certain period of time. However, when it starts losing its leaves, you can gradually stop watering and stop completely when all of the leaves are gone, and wait to resume watering when the new growth starts pushing out new roots. More than that, it should be pretty easy for you to look after when it's growing. It's just offer some water, bright light, and fertilizing. It should do the trick. It will bloom and rebloom for you. I have to say that, yeah, I love these flowers. I think they are unique. They are super amazing. And it's super nice to have something different in my collection. So now, let's talk about some of, for me, the worst disadvantage of these plants. Apart from the size that, other orchids are big as well. We can make space for them. But for me, the biggest disadvantage with Cataseinae or like the Cycnodes type of plants is that their leaves are very thin. And for any reason, they attract pests like nothing. So if you have pests in your collection, the first plant that will notice your insects, it's on these type of orchids. They go straight to the leaves. They like to munch on these leaves. It's very easy to notice pest insects attacking it. I don't know why. What's the reason behind it? Maybe it's because the leaves are super thin, so it's a little bit easy to suck sap from it. But also this one came full of snails when I received it, so I had to repot and remove all of the roots. After that, it took a while to bounce back. It was not completely gone when it had the snails, so I had to actually remove everything, repot everything, and I think the plant got a little bit stressed. So even snails loved these roots. But more than that, you can easily notice insects. That's the reason why I'm filming here today, because I have thrips in the living room and I cannot mix these plants. So for now on, while I have thrips there, you're gonna see some videos here. It's my way of shelter. Sometimes I show you these plants there, but I'm not doing it until I am sure the infection there is kind of controlled. Anyway, I'm a little bit out of practice. It has been a few weeks without recording videos. I'm completely late. I intend to be back on track. But for now, that was everything that I want to show you today. I hope you enjoyed these beautiful blooms. If you did, hit the like button, leave a comment down below. And I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.